Hello my good friends, Mr. E here, and today it is a Hive Scum build compilation. Yes, you are looking at the Omega build compilation of all of my Hive Scum builds, all that I have put out since the class's release, plus a few that were unreleased in terms of videos. And there is one in here that is only for members, channel members of the Mr. E variety. So if you want to get access to that, you can join the Mr. E Men. And the link is down below in the description for that. But without further ado, let me direct you to the description where you can find timestamps to any and all of the builds. I'll also have a brief description of what the builds do in there, and a sort of suggestion about what sort of games to look to play this in difficulty-wise. All of these are tailored to the highest levels of play. I just think that some are going to give you better results into Havoc, if that is your speed, than others. And of course, these have all been updated as of the most recent patches, and potentially there might be changes later, but I will also be linking a direct link to any of the videos, the past full-length videos that have featured these builds. Just be aware that whatever appears in this video will be the de facto sort of talent and weapon setup going forward, because these ones have been optimized for the more current patch. So keep that in mind if you choose to go back and look at the longer form video to see a more thorough explanation of why I'm choosing certain talents. But with that being said, guys, remember to like and subscribe if you appreciate Darktide content and you want to see more of it, and enjoy the show. Get out of my way. Oh, dodge. Yeah, you can dodge it point blank like that. First up, we have a Desperado Hive Scum build here. Just a super easy, casual way of playing the class, and great for beginners to the class as well, because we are using the Desperado skill, which enables you to dodge all range attacks while it's active, which means you can just run right up to enemies and blast them to death using the dual Uzis, which are going to be our weapon of choice. Let's go ahead and begin here. We're going to be using the shivs in our primary spot. Just a good, solid, all-rounder primary melee weapon. Just the best melee weapon on the class, honestly. And so we're going to be stacking it with Uncanny Strike and Riposte as our two blessings, Unyielding and Carapace as our perks, and low mobility. This is the focus of the build, the dual auto pistols here with Blaze Away and Speed Load. You might be thinking, Mystery, why a reload perk on the second perk here? That's because reloading with this weapon actually takes quite a while, and every little bit you can cut out of your reload really adds to your damage that you can pump out, especially when you have your stims and stuff going. We'll be taking Flak Armor and Unyielding for the perks here, because we really can't hurt Carapace with these at all, so there's no use in speccing towards Carapace. That's what we brought the shivs for. And we'll take Low Mobility as our stats. For our curios, we should just be taking 3 17% toughness, or 16, whatever you can get your hand on, with 12% stamina regeneration, 4% ability combat regeneration, and 12% revive speed for allies. Our stims are going to look just like this. Spur all the way out and taking the reflex capstone there. That's just the one side node there. You could go for a longer stim if you want, but I prefer this because it allows you to have these stims more often. And the fire rate and recoil reduction, as well as the reload speed, is actually very important to have when you're going ham. We'll come over here to the talents and take Quick and Deadly in your face, Voice of Tertium, and Speed Loader, another great way to get more cooldown reduction, or more reload speed, I mean. Burst of Energy, and then Sticky Hands, which really tightens up our spray on the Uzis. You can take whichever grenade you want. I was playing around with Blackout, because Blackout is very easy to get back when you spray these Uzis into a horde. Every kill you'll get at close range is going to give you some credit towards your Blackout grenades. These things are able to disrupt enemies and get their defenses down, so you can spray them down. Very nice. The other two grenades are obviously amazing as well, so don't sleep on them. We'll come down here and take Gang Tough, Nimble, and Slippery Customer. Now, Slippery Customer is really cool here, because when you have Nimble, your slides go extra far as well. And with Desperado active, if you are sliding, you can't be hit by either melee or range attacks, because you can't be hit by range attacks when Desperado is active, and you can't be by melee attacks when you're sliding. So just be sliding all around the place and you're going to be just fine while you're shooting. Tis but a scratch, and then Anarchist, which is going to give us 5% crit chance. We'll come down here and we'll take Desperado with just the pick your targets node, and then on this left side we are going to take Unload, Ammo Jack, Pickpocket, and finally Moving Target. In the middle, we'll take Punching Weapons Weight and Cheap Shots, which is very nice for this build because the Uzis are pretty good at stagger, honestly. Then we'll take this Potent Tox node, Extra Pouches, Sample Collector, and then Chemical Dependency, Maxed Out Chems, and Chem Enhanced, so we can have an extra 20% crit chance, 40% cooldown reduction, and yeah, and that's gonna keep us having nice uptime on this Desperado ability. So don't be afraid to get aggressive with it and mow down as many enemies as possible. I hope you enjoy. Yeah, Shredder goes really hard in this class, yeah. I told you I'm gonna save this bot. His survival in this mission will be my swan song. As this bot is a hero bot, okay, we need to save him. I can tell he's got the good RNG somehow. I like that these things have suppressors. I think that was a good choice. It's cool when they're like. Uzis, Shredder, Vigilant Autogun's really good too. So is Infantry Autogun. Infantry Autogun actually goes really hard here. But you want things that can utilize crit really well. Okay, fuck you. Like lots of crit and a pretty fast reload are good, pretty good prerequisites. Because there's a lot of synergy with getting crit in the tree, so like you want to be able to utilize that. I think that's where the braced autogun falls down. Did I say vigilant earlier? I meant braced. I think that's where the braced autogun kind of falls down. Is it's not very good at crits. I'm just freaking finishing my sentence like an hour later.
Every last one.
The pistols don't get the reload speed. I don't know. What's that bug? Come on, the bot. Is he fine? Okay, I guess he's fine.
No bot. Hero bot. Dude, he's.
He made it. He can't die. I don't know what his deal is. Yeah. Hey, this guy survived like easily 10 times longer than any of the bots I've seen.
I think he got some of that Inquisitor power armor or some shit.
Yeah, his mother dipped him in the fucking river Styx. He is the Achilles of bots. Yes. I'm shredding, mother. Mother. I'm slaying the heretics, mother.
Disgusting!
The Shredder Scum is a very formidable ranged attacker who uses the Shredder Auto Pistol, which is one of the more powerful weapons on this class in a range capacity. Sure, it might have less DPS than the dual Uzis or the infantry auto gun, but it makes up for that in very, very fast movement and some crazy precision. This thing can snipe like no other weapon can on the class for some reason. So in order to make this build, you'll want to start here with the Bone Saw. The Bone Saw is a great weapon into tons of enemies, a good way to deal damage to bosses for this class. Carapace on Yielding here, this is our way of dealing with Crushers, because of course the Shredder can't do that very well at all. Shred and Refine Lethality, because there's tons of synergies here with getting Chem Toxins on enemies. Make certain that if you've got an easy horde of melee enemies in front of you, just use the Bone Saw to dispatch a lot of them. That'll give you lots of cooldown on your Stim. Then we'll take the Shredder Auto Pistol here. For blessings here, we want to take Blaze Away and Pinning Fire for a total of plus 65% strength, and we'll take the perks of Flak and Unyielding, the most common enemy types to be facing, and very, very easy targets, easy pickings for our Shredder Auto Pistol. Minimize mobility here and maximize everything else, and you'll be spending about 90 to 95% of your time with this weapon, so get very comfortable with its movement set. For Curios, we'll take triple toughness with triple stamina regeneration, triple revive speed, and triple combat ability regeneration. Let's go over here to the Stim Lab, where we are going to be taking this bottom left row spur all the way out to Reflex. Then in the top right, we will take Wildfire all the way up to Fury 2 with that additional 15% rending, which will allow some of our range attacks to get through that armor layer on Crushers. Then we'll come over here to the talents. At the top left, we'll take Quick and Deadly, In Your Face, Voice of Tertium, Speed Loader, Burst of Energy, and Sticky Hands, which will be familiar to a lot of players who are playing ranged Hive Scum. Very similar setup most times. I'm taking Rocket Launcher here, although you're able to take whatever blessing or whatever blitz that you like to. Coming straight down through Gang Tough, Nimble into Tisbit of Scratch. Anarchist will be our aura of choice, although you could choose something else if your team demands it, but Anarchist is the best all-rounder. Toughness boost, and we are taking Stim Supply with this build. Stim Supply is able to cleanse our team's corruption, so they'll be very thankful if they have corrupting effects on the map, but also we're going to be using practice deployment and fast-acting stims here. So anytime that our Stim Supply is available, we can stim ourselves with our Stim Lab first, and then drop the Stim Supply and get a double stack of that juicy thing. And then when our Stim comes back off cooldown, we will get a reset on our Stim Supply, and we'll have lots and lots of boosts to our attack speed and our damage thanks to this interaction. We'll come down here and we'll take extra pouches and sample collector. This is going to keep our Stim cooldown low, which will in turn refresh our Stim Supply cooldown. Over here, we'll take cheap shots. Cheap shots because we are getting lots of stagger out of the Shredder here. The Shredder is a very high stagger weapon. Hive City Brawler, because some extra damage reduction is never bad. And then we'll take Punching Above One's Weight, which will give us damage against leads and monstrosities. Crit chance over here into Unload, Ammo Jack, and then Pickpocket, which is a very easy thing to refresh on because this weapon has crazy range and accuracy. And then we'll take Moving Target, and finally Vulture's Mark with Patient Hunter here. Now this weapon, because I've mentioned previously, is very, very good at hunting elites and specials since it shoots so far and so accurately. Just make sure you're scanning and looking around for these enemies to keep Vulture's Mark maxed out, because you'll get tons of benefits from having this thing maxed out, including providing toughness to you and your team. With that being said, I hope you enjoy some gameplay, and I hope you enjoy the build.
This is most unbearable. We are an incredible teamwork to the others.
Wait, I got this. Was that me? I'm guessing that was me. This is the minigun Hive Scum, and that minigun in question is going to be the infantry autogun. The infantry autogun on this class can be boosted like nothing else. You can take this and multiply its crits to the absolute moon and destroy bosses, destroy hordes. Yeah, it turns into a really, really ridiculous bullet hose, and it is super funny to watch it in action, as I'm sure you just saw. So if you want to spray bullets and deal the most immense damage you could possibly do with one of these sorts of builds, check this one out. We're going to start here with the Bone Saw being our melee of choice. Really good synergies with crits and refined lethality there. That's going to be a good choice for chopping into bosses if you don't have a lot of juice up for your minigun. But the real reason we want to use this weapon occasionally is because it can spread that toxin around, or it can even use the purple toxin and get brittleness on bosses and brittleness on targets, which allows them to take more damage. So yeah, this is just a really good versatile weapon that works really well with what we're already stacking. However, plenty of other weapons work here as well. If you really like the shivs, just run the shivs. There's no problem with doing that in either case. The real focus of the build here is the Vrax Mark V Infantry Autogun, which we will be taking minimum mobility in here. We're going to put Flak and Unyielding as our 2 perks, and then the blessings are Fire Frenzy and Dum Dum. We are going to be stacking a ridiculous amount of damage spraying into hordes, spraying through elites, and when this thing starts hitting crits, which is very, very often given the amount of crits we can stack on this build, they are hitting really hard. As you can see here, a critical hit does roughly triple damage, and that is, critical weak spot does like roughly triple damage, which is really, really insane. We can boost that even further. For our curios, we'll take the classic 17% toughness with additional combat ability regeneration, stamina regeneration, and revive speed on all 3 of these curios. Over here in the Stim lab, we are going to go in the bottom left, as we've seen in these range builds so far, with a reflex branch, and then on the top right, we will take Wildfire all the way out till Wildfire 5 for that additional 35% finesse. Over here on the talent side of things, we're going to start at the top left here with In Your Face, then go Voice of Tertium and Precision Violence. We'll take all 3, Speed Loader, Burst of Energy, and Float Like a Butterfly. This right here is going to give us 20% additional critical chance on both our melee and our range weapon when we are dodging, which is immense because it's going to boost those crits on our gun like insane levels. We'll take Sticky Hands here and come down to Boombringer. You can choose any of these blitzes, of course, but Boombringer I think is the best right now. We'll take Gang Tough, Nimble, Tisbit of Scratch, and then the juicy 5% crit aura. We'll take the 25 toughness boost in the middle, and then Stim Supply with fast-acting stims and practice deployment. This is going to enable us to stim stack, just as you saw in the Shredder build, and you'll also see in the gameplay demonstration portion if you want to see exactly how that works. That only works in real games, by the way, so you can't get it to work in the Psychanium. And this is going to also enable us to have so much more uptime on this stim, which really does boost our damage insanely. We'll come down here and grab extra pouches and then Sample Collector. Over here on the left, we'll go for melee damage boost into Punching Above One's Weight and Hive City Brawler for some additional toughness. Then we'll take Unload, and we'll take Ammo Jack, Pickpocket, and Moving Target. And finally, we'll come down here and take Vulture's Mark with the Patient Hunter augment there. And this is going to round us out with that additional crit chance and movement speed and flat damage. So make certain you are looking for those range targets, those elite targets and stuff. They will die in 1 or 2 bullets from this gun, and so you'll have lots and lots of stacks to go around, hopefully. Yeah, that's the build, and I hope you enjoy some of this absolutely destructive gameplay. No, Braced Autogun, of course, isn't bad. Braced Autogun would be even better with this, I think. I got you. Lord. I can't even see where I'm shooting. Wow. I can't. It's like the recoil is like all over the place. But I just have to shoot when I have that attack speed. I have to shoot, right? There is a difference between staggered and fully staggered. It's not applicable most times. But there are like different stages of stagger. Jesus Christ, it's like doubling up on the firing sounds. Did I get in that? I think I did. I should have probably shot the boss there to really test the damage, but... Oh, see, got stims over there? Oh, fuck, I didn't get in the stims. Chips ahoy! It's gonna do the thing. Fuck you. What the fuck happened there? It's just too fun. Why'd they make it so fun to shoot so freaking fast, dude? Unfair. I used all my ammo. In my barrel. Shout over there. Can you fucking come to the door already? Oh. Oh shit, dude. Nice fucking try, dude. Just teleport to the left. Ooh. Have you guys seen that, like, there's a guy who does, like, gun tests. He does, like, shorts on YouTube. He's this fat guy. And he just, like, shoots guns until their barrels melt and, like, that catch on fire and shit. That's what I feel like here. This is Gordon Fentman. That's right. G-Man's next task for Gordon was to absolutely level the heretic population in Tertium, and he has set out a man on a mission with his trusty crowbar. Now, of course, you'll need to bring your crowbar here, and the whole goal of this build is to stack as much stamina and therefore attack speed as possible, because those two are linked with this build. We are going to be taking the crowbar here, of course, there's only one mark of this, and minimizing defenses. Defenses don't matter on this weapon, they just decrease some very, very minor stamina costs, which we have plenty of stamina to spare, so who cares? We'll take the perks of Carapace and +2 stamina, and then for blessings, we'll take Superiority, which is a massive, almost 40% strength, and then take a swing. Take your swing for 60% weak spot damage for 3 seconds when we push enemies. So make certain you are throwing out a push every couple seconds just to keep that buff up. It's a very, very juicy damage increasing buff. For range weapon, we'll use the Needle Pistol Mark II here. This is the best all-rounder weapon for melee builds. So just take a mental image or a literal image of what's on the screen right now. For all your melee builds, this is going to be the best secondary with this exact setup here. Minimized damage. The reason for this is because the damage stat on this weapon actually doesn't matter at all. It doesn't affect the toxin damage, which is all of the damage. So yeah, you can maximize everything else and have damage be the minimum. Then Unyielding and Carapace are the most effective types of perks here. That does affect the actual damage that the enemies take from the toxin here, as long as the weapon is wielded. So you'll be able to burn down bosses and crushers from a distance without any threat to your life or limb. And then Run and Gun and Strip Down, especially Strip Down here, is very useful because we have such a high stamina count that we're able to just sprint and sprint and sprint all day and dodge a ton of bullets. And we can also slide, and during that slide, our regeneration is fast enough that we can actually get a considerable amount of stamina back. And that means we can dodge range attacks effectively infinitely. And thanks to Run and Gun, we can actually shoot the gun while we're sprinting, which means no stopping. And then you can just shoot a Reaper a couple times as you do a drive-by attack, and then he doesn't get a chance to murder you instantly, which is awesome. Now comes the hardest part of the build to acquire, which is your Stamina Curios. Now, you'll need +3 Stamina Curios here. However, +3 Stamina Curios that have a 400 rating don't count. They don't count as +3, they're only +2 for whatever reason. So I have not been lucky enough to get, look, I spent literally $40,000 redues and didn't get them, so good luck. I've got one that's 410. 410 is the cutoff. So this is a good one here. That's going to give you 3. These two will just give you 2. So if you can't get any 410s, then just suffice with 2s. It's fine. We've got the +3 staminas all the way across, but then we want the perks of stamina regen, combat ability regen, and then revive speed is the best one here. I put toughness on here, but toughness is not necessary. It's not going to make that much difference. You're mainly killing things here with just your unrelenting offense. Not too much defense is required. However, over on the Stim side of things, we're going to be taking Barrage side up here all the way out to Tank. That'll give us lots of toughness replenishment. So the toughness that we do have, we're getting back a lickety split. And then we're going to take Wildfire out to Finesse, Wildfire 5, which is just nice boost to our crits and our headshots. Over here on the talents, we'll take Tertium Welcome, Precision Violence, Float Like a Butterfly, 20% more crit for our crowbars, and then Burst of Energy with the Blackout Grenade. Blackout is a solid grenade with this build because the crowbar, every single kill with the crowbar will count towards it. Some weapons, a lot of times the toxins will steal it, or Hypercritical can steal the kills that go towards Blackout. The crowbar does not get those benefits, and so yeah, you'll be getting those kills directly and stacking up to Blackout, meaning you'll have probably lots of these to go around. And they're great for throwing open the defenses of threatening enemies and then just popping a fucking crowbar into the top of their head. We'll come straight down this way, Gang Tough, Nimble, Tisbit of Scratch, and then Anarchist, and we are going to land on Rampage, where we are taking Pulverizing Strikes, Forge's Bellow, and Boiling Blood. Then we're going to come over here and take Critical Strike, Chance Boost, and then Swift Endurance. This is the sort of center point of the whole build. 2% increased attack speed for each stamina. We have up to, I think we have 16 bonus stamina right now on the build, and you could have up to 18 if you actually had those +3 curios. So yeah, that's a lot. That's 34 to 32 to 36% attack speed. That's huge. Then we'll take Sweet Spot for weak spot damage, and then over here, punching above one's weight, Hyper Violence, Hive City Brawler, Cheap Shots, and Battering Strikes. Down here on the right side, Potent Tox, Extra Pouches, Sample Collector, and then finally we're rounding things off with a Chemical Dependency node, and we'll take Chem Fortified and Chem Enhanced for a nice 15% toughness damage reduction and 15% crit chance. So all around this build, while it is lacking defenses in the form of the toughness on the Curios, it does have a lot of defenses on this side of the tree, and Rampage in particular actually makes us quite tanky while it's active, which is why we're minimizing that cooldown. And yeah, just get in there, get on the enemies, make certain they're staggered and they can't even retaliate against you, and you're going to have a good time. This build is an absolute blast, and I love pulverizing enemies with it. I hope you enjoy. Next up is perhaps the most brain dead and effective way of playing melee Hive Scum, the Tac Axe Hive Scum. The Tactical Axe is a surprisingly effective weapon on most classes, although it tends to suffer with low damage. The Hive Scum doesn't care about that. He is going to turbo boost this thing to being perhaps the most scary weapon you could possibly imagine in his hands, and it is going to have 92% crit rate when all is said and done, which is truly something to behold. Now, we are going to be using the Mark IV Tac Axe here. A lot of players will be using the Mark 7, but the Mark IV is the better option for the Hive Scum because it has a better light attack spam horde clear combo, and the heavy attacks are specialized in killing crushers. They are way better effectively at killing through carapace, so heavy attack overheads and uppercuts to those crusher threats, and that's the only type of enemy that really slows us down at all aside from big bosses. So for stats, we'll take all damage, all finesse, all critical bonus, all penetration, dumping mobility. We'll take 10% melee critical damage because we have a 92% crit rate, so that's effectively just a 10% damage bump. Then we'll take a 25% damage bump to unyielding because that's the boss that we need to kill, and they have a lot of health, so they don't die instantly like everything else does. Head taker and shred here. Then we'll come down and take the needle pistol, the Mark II of course, with the following stats. You'll just see him there, run and gun, strip down, all that good stuff for the general melee purpose needle pistol build. Then we're going to take a toughness curio, a wrong stamina curio in the build. There we go. We're going to take 2 toughness curio and 1 stamina curios. The toughness curios and the stamina curios should both have stamina regeneration, revive speed, and combat ability regeneration as the 3 perks. Okay, let's go over here to the Stim lab where we are very simply taking this top right side, going from Wildfire up into Wildfire 5, getting that 4% strength and 25% finesse at the last tier. Then we'll take this talent tree here. We'll take Tertium Welcome, Quick and Deadly, Precision Violence, Float Like a Butterfly, Burst of Energy, down straight through Rocket Launcher, on down through Gang Tough, Nimble, Tisbut of Scratch, and Anarchist. Toughness boost into Rampage with the Pulverizing Strikes and Boiling Blood augments. Over here on the left side, we're going to take Critical Hit Chance, then Swift Endurance, Sweet Spot, and Hyper Critical, which is going to call pretty much every medium to high health enemy. And then we're going to come over here and take battering strikes to give us some extra cleave, punching above one's weight, and hyper violence, which will just allow us to stack insane damage. And then we are going to go over here and take Code Weaponry, which allows us to stack Chem Toxin on every enemy that we hit with critical that doesn't die instantly, and that's going to give us extra return on bosses and some extra stuff for Sample Collector. And then finally, Chemical Dependency here, which is going to give us the 30% cooldown reduction because we get, or sorry, 40% cooldown reduction because we're getting 4 stacks with maxed out chems and an additional 20% crit chance off Chem Enhanced. So this build just goes super hard. It is absolutely brain dead to play generally, but it's so funny and it's so effective. So I highly encourage you to do it because, yeah, no class can go harder with this flurry of blows Tac Axe than this lovely Hive Scum can, and it's a ton of fun. Get out there and enjoy it. Next is the Toxic Avenger, a defensive-oriented Hive Scum build. We are intending here to stall out the enemies, to just engage them in a war of attrition where we're going to dot them up with as much toxin as possible and melt them all down. We're pretty good at clearing hordes, we're definitely good at dealing with monstrosities and bosses, and we're almost impossible to kill because we can regenerate toughness and make ourselves just really dreadfully tough for enemies to deal with. Additionally, this is a stim supply build, so you can bring this and you will always have stim supply, so your entire team is going to be immune to corruption effects. So if there's demon hosts or beasts of Nurgle or pox gas in the air, your team is really going to love having you on the team here because they will 100% of the time have that stim supply effect on them. So we're going to start here with the bone saw. We're going to take a minimum mobility bone saw with Carapace Unyielding, and the blessings are shred and refined lethality. This is going to obviously be really good for stacking those green toxin stacks on enemies, but if you got a boss on your hands, you can stack the purple toxins in there to get some extra damage done. For our purposes, the green toxin is probably where you want to stay 95% of the time, except for on those massive bosses, because green toxin does just fine into crushers and stuff like that, better than wasting the time to switch between modes constantly. The Needle Pistol Mark II is our ranged weapon of choice, as you've seen in the previous melee builds, really effective, and we can use this in the secondary mode to spread the toxin to lots and lots of enemies at range, which is going to give us tons of cooldown reset on our stims. We are going to then come down here and take 2 toughness curios for combat ability regeneration and revive speed allies, and stamina regeneration as our perks, and then the third one will be a +3 max stamina curio with the same blessings on it. Then we'll be coming over here to the Stim Lab, where we have a very peculiar setup, but a very pointedly designed one. We'll just be taking Barrage 1 here. Replenishes a little bit of toughness, gives us 5% additional toughness replenishment, and 4% damage reduction. This, of course, applies to everybody that touches it, so a nice free tiny little bump of toughness for touching it, but also some damage reduction for the next 15 seconds. But additionally, this makes our cooldown super short, which means that every 15 seconds we can drop one of these kits, and you'll see why that's important in a second. We'll take Tertian Welcome, Precision Violence, Float Like a Butterfly, and Burst of Energy for our top of the tree here. Then we'll come down and we're going to take Toughness Boost. Then we are going to go Boombringer, Gang Tough, Nimble, Tis But a Scratch. You could actually take Chem Grenade for a little bit more of a flavorful choice here, but I don't think it's that important either way. Anarchist is a good aura choice here, Toughness Boost, and then we're taking Stim Supply with all 3 augments, notably Booby Trap here. So every 15 seconds we're dropping one of these Booby Traps, and when it dies it inflicts the nearby enemies with 7 stacks of Chem Toxin. Learning the timing on this, learning how to use this effectively, will enable you to do absolutely tremendous damage. 7 stacks of Chem Toxin is effectively equivalent to what a Chem Grenade does to enemies, which is really disgusting. So make certain you are dropping these things on cooldown and trying to get them in places where enemies are going to be in the radius when it goes. And then we're going to come down here and take extra pouches, Toxin Mania and Toxic Renewal. This is part of why we are so impossible to kill, is because every enemy we hit is afflicted with Toxin thanks to the Bone Saw, and that's just going to mean we're replenishing even more and more toughness. We'll take Sample Collector here and then Chemical Dependency with both the Chem Fortified and Chem Enhanced nodes. The Chem Fortified node here is going to give us an additional 50% toughness and 5% toughness damage reduction. Every single time we drop our kit here, we're going to get that 50% toughness. In fact, we'll get more than that because the Stim is actually going to provide us some extra toughness regen. So we are going to, we're going to be bumping our toughness up. If you're ever hurt, just drop a kit and you're fine. Then we're going to take Punching Weapons Weight and Hive City Brawler over here. Note that we are not taking Hyperviolence because our melee weapon doesn't really swing fast enough, nor are we killing oftentimes with the melee weapon hits themselves to trigger Hyperviolence. But we will take Swift Endurance, Hypercritical, and Pickpocket. Hypercritical enabling us to just cleave and instantly kill some man-sized enemies with the lovely cleaver or the bone saw. And then the Pickpocket is so we can spray and pray with our lovely needle pistol all day long without worrying about our ammo running out ever. Okay, and that's the build. It's a very tanky focused build. You won't do the absolute top damage on the team, but you are very useful in a fight. You're a very utility focused frontliner who gets lots of toxins on everybody and melts it all with lovely green embraces. All right, thanks for watching. Enjoy.
My dream really is a miserable place, isn't it?
This is the artillery support scum, meaning we are not only going to be providing support for our allies by buffing their damage and their defenses, but also we are going to be raining down explosions on our enemies using the bolt pistol as our ranged weapon here. And the bolt pistol is also going to make our rocket launcher even more powerful than it already is. This build is really, really well rounded, does very solid melee damage, very solid range damage, and can really augment the power of your team. Fuck off, Xeno. Let's start here with the shivs. The shivs are going to be spec'd unyielding carapace with low mobility. Uncanny strike and riposte are your blessings. These are the classic shivs, the best, most powerful weapon on the class, so it makes sense just to throw them in there and be a nice, solid, well-rounded melee weapon. Whatever melee weapon you want to use here, it needs to have a good crit rate because we are going to be using hypercritical to fight our way through melee. Then we'll take the bolt pistol. I like the Mark 6, the second, more AoE focused, larger explosion radius bolt pistol. This bolt pistol has a lower base ammo, but we're Hive Scum, so we don't actually care about that. We'll take low mobility, unyielding, flak armored, and then the two blessings here are puncture and lethal proximity, which is massively important because lethal proximity not only increases the radius that this thing explodes, but all explosions on the class, regardless of whether we're currently holding the bolt pistol or not, which means our rocket just gets a huge radius increase, which wipes entire screens. For curios, I recommend triple 17% toughness curios with triple stamina regen, triple revive speed, and triple combat ability regen. Let's go to the Stim lab here, and you'll see we are doing a very typical all the way out on this side, all the way, this should be in the rending category up here. The reasoning behind this is we are going to be providing this buff for our entire team. And so, yeah, these are the stacking of benefits that we really want to see a lot of. You could also go for that finesse, you could go for crit, whatever you want, but I think the rending is probably going to counter the hardest enemies the hardest, because that's mostly crushers, and that's a very nice buff to our team. But over here, this extra toughness replenishment is huge because everybody gets it, and it just boosts your toughness. Everybody that steps into the radius of the stim will immediately get a bunch of toughness back too, which is awesome. So yeah, that's your stim, and then we're going to come down here and we're going to check out our talents. In your face is the starting point here because we are going to be mostly ranged. I'd say you probably play 75% with your bolt pistol and 25% with your melee weapon. You can use your bolt pistol as an offensive and defensive weapon. It's kind of a fun weapon to use. You'll see me do it in the video. We got speed loader here, then voice of tertium, precision balance, and float like a butterfly because this does trigger on both melee and ranged weapons. Sticky hands to swap and shoot and aim down sights quicker. Burst of energy. Then we'll take the Boombringer, which is getting a 25% radius increase. I don't know what that does to the area of a circle, but it's a big increase in the area of a circle. Gang Tough, Nimble, then Tis But a Scratch. Our aura should be Anarchist. Then we'll take Toughness Boost, and we're taking Stim Supply with both fast-acting stims and practiced deployment. Then we'll come down here and we'll take extra pouches and sample collector. And yeah, this is going to allow us to get our stim back a little bit faster, which is great because our stim is a very long cooldown. We'll take punching above one's weight and hyper violence. This can help us a lot with our meleeing. You don't necessarily need hyper violence. There are other options here. You could take cheap shots. Cheap shots is a good alternative because you can stagger enemies with the bolt pistol quite easily. You could alternatively take Hive City Brawler for damage reduction if you feel like you are a little bit too squishy, or maybe even Ammo Jack if you feel like the bolt pistol doesn't have quite enough ammo in the magazine for you. Over here, we'll take Swift Endurance, and then we'll take the Sweet Spot. This is a really nice buff because headshots with the bolt pistol and headshots with the daggers do quite a bit of damage. Bonus fun fact, a rocket launcher actually deals more damage when you hit it in the head with it. So this will increase your rocket launcher damage if you can hit the boss in the head. Then we'll take the Hypercritical and Pickpocket talents over here. And finally, we'll round it off with Vulture's Mark and Patient Hunter. Just a good all-round buff, helps us supporting our team because when we're at 3 stacks, it will give our team some toughness back, and we'll be giving them more toughness through this right here. So yeah, there you go. I hope you enjoy and watch some of this gameplay. How are you not dead, bro? Die, what the fuck? I can't believe that didn't hit me. Oh, you piece of shit. What else can I say? This is the meta Hive Scum build right now, using Rampage, using the shivs, using Needle Pistol. We're stacking all the best stuff into one build, and to be quite honest with you, it feels a little bit overpowered, but hey, here it is anyway for your destruction pleasure. Let's go ahead and get started here. We are using, of course, the Shivs Mark 1 with minimum mobility. Unyielding and Carapace are our perks here. Uncanny and Riposte are our two blessings. Then we will go on to the Needle Pistol, which we're going to be using the normal melee setup for the Needle Pistol here. Run and Gun, Strip Down, Unyielding and Carapace are our perks, and then a minimum damage roll because that doesn't affect the damage over times. Then we'll come down to our curios, where we want to take 1 max stamina curio and then 2 17% toughness curios. If you're feeling like you're a little bit light on the defenses, you can take that stamina curio out, but I think that the Hive Scum gets a lot from having an extra +3 stamina in there. The additional blessings you should have on here is stamina regeneration, combat ability regeneration, and revive speed ally on all 3. Go to the Stim lab here. We're going Wildfire all the way out till Wildfire 5. Just this, nothing else. Just a quick 15 pointer for a 45-second cooldown. We'll come over here to the talent tree. We'll take Tertium Welcome, Quick and Deadly, Precision Violence, Float Like a Butterfly, Burst of Energy. Then we'll come straight down through Rocket Launcher and go all the way down to Tisbet of Scratch. Then our aura is Anarchist. Our ultimate is Rampage with both Pulverizing Strikes and Boiling Blood. Over here, we'll take the Crit Chance boost and Swift Endurance, Sweet Spot, and Hypercritical, which is going to allow us to just cull most human-sized enemies with light attacks. Over here, we'll take Punching Above One's Weight, and then Hyper Violence, which will allow us to stack insane damage and pop large health targets like Bulwarks, Crushers, and Bosses. Then we'll take Hive City Brawler for some damage reduction, and Battering Strikes for Cleave. On the right side tree, we'll take Potent Tox, Extra Pouches, Sample Collector, and finally we'll round things off with Chemical Dependency with both the Chem Enhanced node and maxed out chems for a total of 40% cooldown reduction and 20% critical strike chance. So all told, this build is actually kind of a powerhouse. The weapons are just insane in terms of the damage they can put out, and you can just attack dozens and dozens of times per second. It feels like they will absolutely tear through hordes, metal, bosses, whatever you put in your way. You've got the rocket launcher to back it up, and if anything gets really, really scary, you can always use the needle pistol and run away from an engagement and re-engage when you have your ult back up. But yeah, this build is probably the strongest thing you could use, probably what most people will be using if you are really getting into being a main character Hive Scum and want to be the DPS carry for your team. This is the best way to do it, in my personal opinion right now. So get out there and enjoy, guys. Oh, rockets. Perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for the bosses. I'm gonna shoot them with 2 rockets, and then I'm gonna pick up more. Alright, 1 second, I'm gonna run up here and run down. There we go. Oh, nice. A bird will coming.
And I will share the truth of that.
Yep. way. I can't even hear that burster, bro. It's so quiet. I was just gonna rocket that fucking guy. No. Why would I use pickpocket? I dropped you a whole ass ammo crate back there, you didn't see it? Oh, that hurt. That fucking hurt. Dog wants me. That you just saw there is the Block Scum. A melee Hive Scum build uses the Devil's Claw sword to retributively strike enemies for tens of thousands of damage. It is actually quite nasty, and it is my latest invention. But unfortunately, you'll have to be a mystery channel member to get access to the full build guide. But that's pretty easily remedied, of course. You can find that link down below, and if you are already a member, or I've enticed you to become one, thank you very much for being one. You'll find the link in the description to the full build guide. Well, folks, that is all the builds I have for you today. Hopefully you got something out of it. Hopefully it helped you to climb, get better at the game, enjoy the game more. That's my goal here. So if your goals are aligned with mine, well then remember to like the video, subscribe, maybe even become a channel member and unlock those secret channel member only builds. I really appreciate you for watching this far. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.